Dobro jutro, Divine Pisces, 222. It is Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. It's a little early today, guys. I'm just letting you know my schedule at work changed. So I'll be working an earlier shift. So there may be some morning, get a morning collective. And if that... Alright, so first card we've got out today... Resilience, yeah. I definitely feel a lot of us are feeling this right here. We're feeling like bouncing back, basically, on these negative energies that have been kind of coming in. And basically the lesson here is to teach you, to, I guess, mainly to not take on anybody else's burdens. And this is actually a card that's been coming up a lot in my personal readings. It's basically a lesson. Basically telling you, of course, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And that's always been the truth, right? And we all know that because we've all experienced this. We've all experienced heartbreaking times where we thought we couldn't get through, really devastating experiences in our lives, and then we came through them, different people, stronger. Looking at the world a different way, different perspective. And that mainly is what is happening right now, guys. Ego death is basically changing your perspective on things, right? Because you're being forced to take a look at yourself, which is hard to do, objectively. When you look at yourself, you instantly have a bias, right? So what's happening here with the breakdown of the ego is it's forcing you to take a look at yourself completely different. Not just your situation, not just the connection, not just the world, but taking a look at yourself differently, okay? And learning to really hold yourself accountable for the things that you may have done, or the things that you're doing now, or for the way that you think about yourself, or the way you think about other people, okay? And that's what this is, guys. A serious breakdown of the ego, changing perspective in how you see things, right? Also changing perspective in what makes you happy. Like a complete change in what happiness actually is and where it comes from. And the idea that it really does come from within. And you'll notice, like, things that you, like, as you go through this transition, the things that you used to enjoy, you don't enjoy anymore, right? You start to embrace new things. New things make you happy, You may not even be listening to the same music. You may not have the same people around you. You may not be doing the same activities. That sort of thing. You really just gain a higher perspective on things, and you find new things that actually fulfill you, like truly make you happy, instead of like a temporary solution to keep you from thinking about work or thinking about things that are going wrong in your life. Like that's a codependency. That's a coping mechanism. Right? But the idea that making yourself happy has nothing to do with a coping mechanism. Does that make sense? So complete change in perspective, guys. Yeah, change. A lot of change is happening right now, guys. A lot of storms coming, a lot of towers happening, a lot of anger, a lot of fear being released right now. I know a couple people have asked me about purging and what that means. Purging basically is just any release of an emotion that you feel. Instead of holding it in, instead of suppressing it, instead of, forcing it to go away so you don't think about it, you acknowledge the feeling, you purge it, or, if you're feeling angry, get yourself a punching bag, or punch a pillow, or literally, scream into a pillow, or go outside and scream. Hopefully you're not in a neighborhood. People think like, call the cops or something like that, but you know what I mean, like a release of the emotion, and then you just let it go. You just let it go. You don't think about it anymore. You just acknowledge it, release it, say, I'm done. I don't want to feel this way right now. I've released this emotion. I'm not going to think about why I feel this way. I'm just going to acknowledge why I feel this way, and then release it. Does that make sense? You're not going to dwell on it. That's what purging is. Okay? Yeah, and guys, yeah, not only are we changing perspective here, but we're learning to release resistance, okay? Release control. The more you try to control something, the more resistance you feel. That's just how it works, and I've learned that as I've come through this journey, guys. The more you try to control something, the more resistance you feel. The only thing you can control is yourself. You can't control anything external. You can't. You can't control other people. You can't control the things that happen really in your life. The only thing you can control is you. You. Okay? And so I really do feel that a lot of these changes are coming in, they're just refocusing you. Refocusing obviously your perspective, which I've already said, but also like kind of getting you prepared for the changes that are coming this year. Like there are massive, massive changes coming this year, guys. Okay? So keep that in mind. And so if you haven't been working on your mission, you know, maybe you've been focusing on the connection too much and not focusing on your mission. So you know what? Oh, divine truth. Look at that. I skipped. So it's like the universe is stepping in and taking away something so that you will focus on what you're supposed to be doing instead of focusing on the connection. Okay? So keep that in mind, and I guarantee you, if you think about it, that's going to ring true. Okay? And boom, your perspective has changed already. Yeah, I this little light, I really do. But there are days that I just want to throw it against the wall. Okay, there we go. Okay, so taking a look at Divine Masculine here. Yep. Divine Masculine, blinding himself to a decision. We know this has been happening for a while, right? And Source is really trying to get him to refocus, okay, and to see things from a higher perspective, mainly, you know, trusting the intuition and using that intuition in order to make a decision here. Make a decision for the truth, really, and to kind of come out of this self-deception that Divine Masculine has been in for such a long time. Self-deception, just self-loathing, really, like denial, guilt. There's a lot of guilt coming in with Divine Masculine here as of late. Really being forced to take a look at the decisions that they've made in their lives, just in general, like throughout their entire life. Taking a look at like things that they've done in the past. You know, they've kind of been blinding themselves to some of this stuff, and a lot of them are serving their karma because of these things, and not just current life stuff. Again, past life stuff is coming up. And, you know, this is actually being mirrored with Divine Feminine right now. I do feel that. I do feel a lot of Divine Feminines are taking a look at their lives and going, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You know, so there's a lot of, like, guilt, regret. So that's ego death, guys. Ego. It's coming in and forcing you to take a look at yourself. Take a look at what you've done. Maybe that was out of ego. And to release it. To forgive yourself, but also to forgive others. You know, because, you know, maybe somebody was completely rude to you. Maybe there was somebody who cut you off in traffic. And trust me, I'm the world's worst when it comes to, like, you cut me off. You get to the, like, basically, if you act in any way that endangers my life or the life of my kid, I am that person. I was that person who would come up behind you, throw on my brights, and just ride your ass all the way to wherever you're going. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, I was that person. So, you know, I'm not innocent, okay? Road rage, you know, maybe. So I've learned to I have had to learn to kind of control myself with that. You know, there were days where my husband was like, one of these days somebody's going to get out of the car and come up to your window and shoot you. And I'm like, you know what, I'd like to see him try. You know, that kind of thing. So I've had to, really kind of had to work on that. I'm not going to lie. So a lot of Divine Masculines, yeah, kind of in that energy, you know, going through some of the things that maybe they've done, a lot of regret and guilt coming up, but they need to face it. They need to face these things so that they can release them and forgive themselves, but also forgive others who have done the same to them. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, ending the cycle, ending the cycles. So yeah, they're being forced to take a look at the things that they need to cut away. So and that's not just people, that's not just situations, but we're talking like, you know, yeah, emotions, like, maybe negative thinking, like self-defeatist thoughts, things like that are coming up right now. They're being forced to take a look, recognize, release. Okay, yeah, cut the things away, right? I do feel there's a little bit of spying still going on here. And again, this may not be in the 3D, but it could be, but in the 5D, guys. Like, 5D communication, 5D connections, it's really amped up right now. And I do feel it's mainly because I do feel this year it's going to be a lot of interaction is going to be in the 5D. Okay. Now there may be some 3D interaction, absolutely, but I feel like in the absence of 3D, the 5D is really kicking in here. Because that's what's supposed to happen. It's like if you have, maybe you had kind of a 5D relationship with your counterpart, or like some sort of like telepathy and stuff like that, maybe a little bit, but I feel like as of late it's really been picking up. So you may have been really noticing this quite a bit, especially with the purging, especially with feeling like emotions that just come out of nowhere that are not yours, that you know are not yours. You know, that's a form of 5D communication, guys, when you feel each other's emotions, okay? And so what's happening here, it's like just a brand new recognition, a brand new perspective. Brand new perspective on things, on the truth, on what the truth actually is. Not the truth that we tell ourselves, but what the truth actually is, right? And so this is coming in, again, through this ego death, and it's really throwing a lot of divine masculines for a loop. It's like they're just kind of coming into these realizations all of a sudden. And that's kind of massive. Like you know, maybe something's happening in their current situation that they've been blinding themselves to for a long time. And they finally, it's like maybe they woke up one morning and they just went, oh my God, what have I done? What have I been doing? What have I been doing? Why have I been doing this? And then we get like the trigger of like past life stuff, the trigger inner child wounds, abandonment issues, rejection, you know, all of this stuff just kind of coming up, you know, and they feel really torn in two. And actually, that's kind of interesting. We've got 1, 2, 3 different elements too. That's interesting. Okay, anyway, I love when stuff like that happens. So yeah, like, you know, feeling really torn in two, not really quite sure what to do here. Like, decision time, but I'm like, I don't know where to go with this. Right? What is the truth? Who am I? Like, you know, I do feel a lot of divine masculines literally questioning who they are. They don't know who they are. Like, their entire lives, their ego has been the self, right? And, you know, the death of the ego is not the death of the self, but it feels like that, especially when that's all you've known. If that's all you've lived in is ego, you know, and you start embracing the spiritual, or you start seeing the spiritual side of things, or like, you know, your intuition starts kicking in. You know, it's kind of a battle there. You feel torn in two. You're like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And that right there, that is ego death, guys. That is ego death. You don't recognize who you are. And it's a good thing. It is a good thing, because you're like, again, you start changing your perspective. You start changing the way that you see yourself, right? And I definitely feel a lot of third party stuff coming in here. Now keep in mind, again, a third party does not have to be a person. It could be a job. It could be a situation. It could be an addiction. It could be family, whatever, you know, religion. But I definitely feel a lot of changing of perspective of the third party situations. Codependency, toxicity, abuse, mental and emotional abuse. I'm getting that a lot of mental and emotional abuse, manipulation, you know, like basically like being controlled by an external party, or allowing themselves to be controlled. And a lot of divine masculines are really angry about this. A lot of them, you know, they're just kind of realizing, oh my gosh, I've been giving my power away. I have not been standing in my power. And that right there is a death of the ego for divine masculine, because a lot of divine masculines, you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not self-sufficient at all. Somebody else has been pulling the strings my entire life. I feel like I can't stand on my own 2 feet because of this, you know? And then they kind of get into the cycle of the blame game, you know? They start blaming everybody else for all these things, and then when they start taking a look at themselves and realizing that they control everything about themselves, that they've been giving their power away, you know, it's a pretty big realization, right? All right, taking a look at divine feminine. Well, I mean, yeah. So, Divine Feminine, yes. I do feel a lot of Divine Feminines are really feeling this 5D communication kicking in. And, I mean, I'm talking, you're probably getting really, really vivid dreams, very, very consistent dreams, full of really just, honestly, information. You might be getting information from your counterpart. Suggestions, ideas. Some of you, your divine masculine coming in the 5D is actually crucial to your mission. And that's part of your mission, is they're supposed to be helping you in the 5D there. So if that's something that's coming up for you, if that resonates for you, embrace that. Embrace that. And if you're getting dreams, if you're getting stuff, maybe your divine masculine is showing you things. This happens to me quite a bit. Sometimes we don't even speak. He literally just shows me stuff. And then I have to interpret it. I'm like, okay, thanks. It's kind of like a puzzle. I like puzzles. But yeah, so like if you're getting these kinds of dreams here, definitely would make sure that you're meditating. Keep that channel clear. Keep your third eye clear so that you can interpret these messages that you're getting, because I guarantee you there's something he's trying to show you. Something he's trying to get you to do, or trying to get you to embrace, maybe. Definitely something to do with your mission, okay? But he may also be trying to show you something that you need to clear, and also just general information, maybe like showing you what's happening with them, okay? Literally showing you, okay? And some of the things that they're dealing with, okay? Like towers. So Divine Feminine, yeah, definitely also going through ego death. Guys, it's happening this year. There's just a lot of ego death this year, guys. So just embrace it and move on, okay? You're going through transformation. It's here to help you. Don't look at the towers as a bad thing. And yes, sometimes they do feel that way. Towers can be horrible, okay? Towers can be horrible, depending on the situation. Sometimes it's just like an aha moment. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, I got that. But these towers lately, I'm telling you, these towers lately have been horrible. So I get that. Just try to keep yourself grounded and remember that they are good things. They're good things. They are good things. Change your perspective, okay? And get out of the victim mentality. Why me? Why me? Get out of that. Get out of that victim mentality, guys. You're being called into action here. You're being called to move forward, okay? Don't sit there and dwell in it. And this is interesting because this is the Knight of Wands, but boom, you've got the Four of Wands here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the big one here in the middle, okay? So yeah, you're basically being called into action here. You're being called to work on your foundation. You're being called to build up that mission work. You know, a lot of you haven't stepped into mission yet. And I will say this, I know that, a lot of people have asked me about mission and stuff like that. I cannot tell you what your mission is, no. I mean, I might be able to give you a suggestion based on what I feel, but sometimes your mission finds you. My mission found me, guys. It literally fell into my lap. Like, I can't really explain it. It just happened, okay? And I just started following things as they went. And I was just like, all right, well, I guess the universe is trying to get me to do this, so I did it. And it worked out. Do you see what I'm saying? So sometimes the mission finds you. Okay, part of my mission is to help others. I heal by helping other people. So like when I, have somebody email me and I give them advice, right? Helping them helps me. I progress along with you guys. That was the whole point of me starting this channel. That's what my intuition told me to do. Start this channel, help people who are in the same place as you. You will grow with them. I'm growing with you guys. I'm in this with you guys. We're in the same boat, okay? And that's why I'm doing this, okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Your mission will find you sometimes. You don't have to go seeking it. Just consult your spirit team. Ask them to guide you, and they will. Just make sure you're open to the suggestions, okay? And it may get you to do something that's completely out of your comfort zone. YouTube's completely out of my comfort zone. I never wanted to start a YouTube channel. I was like, really? Really? This is what you want me to do? Okay. No problem. So, like, it may get you to do something that you never would have thought you would want to do. Okay, so just keep that in mind, all right? But I feel like a lot of Divine Feminine's definitely in their heads right now. And you may be in your head about mission. You may be trying to figure out your mission, but guys, release it. Release it. Release control. Release control. Release control. It's like all these people wanting to meet their twin flame. You will when it's time. If that's what you're supposed to do in this lifetime. You may not be on, I don't know, I mean, on that path. You may not have a twin who's actually incarnated at the same time as you. It may just all be in the 5D, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? But I feel like a lot of Divine Feminines are in their heads about mission, trying to find their mission, because I know there's a lot of readers that are talking about mission. You're being called into mission. Yes, you are. But you can't control it. Don't sit there and try to dwell in it. Don't sit there and be like, what's my mission? What's my mission? And then freak yourself out and then get into anxiety because you can't find your mission. Okay? Keep in mind, your mission may not be twin flame related, and that's perfectly fine. We all have a different role to play. Okay? Do some meditation. Ask your spirit team just to remember to keep yourself open to the answers. Okay? And a lot of Divine Feminines are also in their heads about what they need to walk away from. Okay? You already know what you need to walk away from. Stop thinking about it. Okay? If you're in a toxic situation, you know, it's time to move. It's time to move on. Okay? Leave it behind. You don't need it. You don't need it in your life. Okay? Now, if your money's funny, if you're not really quite sure how to leave a situation, because, you know, we do live in a 3D world. Yes, we do need money to support ourselves. Absolutely. Okay? That's where you really just kind of release it, guys. You just set your intentions for what you want. Set a short-term, like, goal. Like, let's say, in a week, I would like this. Okay? And then just set that intention, stop worrying about the how, and then the how will show itself to you. Okay? That's how you manifest. You don't focus on the how, you focus on the outcome. Focus on what you want. That's your goal. Keep your eyes on the prize. Okay? And then watch the universe basically take your hand. Does that make sense? All right? A lot of Divine Feminines are feeling this way right now. A lot of Divine Feminines are feeling left out in the cold. Not even particularly by Divine Masculine at this point. I feel like a lot of Divine Feminines feel abandoned by themselves. Like, I'm telling you, like, a lot of this stuff that's coming up right now, it's like a lot of twins are realizing that they have abandoned themselves. They have given their power away to someone else. They have no control over themselves anymore, and that's making them feel panicked. Like panic. Like, oh my gosh, I have no control over me. I have no control over my money. I have no control over my emotions. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Stop. Get out of this energy, guys. Get out of it because it's toxic. It's very, very toxic. And some of you are in some toxic situations, some toxic relationships. You know, maybe your family's really, really toxic, whatever. Maybe you're in a toxic job environment. That sort of thing, okay? You can control that, okay, energetically. If you can't get out right now, change your energy. Stop feeding into the toxicity. Stop feeding into the negativity. Maybe, you know, if you're, and just as an example, maybe you're at a job like that is, you know, maybe really, really toxic for you. Or you're in a relationship that's really, really toxic for you, and you can't get out right now, change your energy. Turn it off. Don't contribute any energy to that connection. Now, I mean, obviously, go and do your job, or, you know, if you have kids, you want to take care of your kids, you know, whatever, but you're not feeding into the negativity. Let's say, you know, if you're in an abusive relationship, like a mentally or emotionally abusive relationship, and your spouse is coming at you, don't react. Don't react. Don't respond. Gray rock. Especially if you're dealing with a narcissist, okay? All right, messages. A lot of them are understanding what this means, guys. Telling you, change in perspective on what love means. Some of you maybe have been friend-zoned. Whatever. Might be the best thing, honestly. Alright, let's get some messages and advice from Source. Yeah. Being forced to face your fears right now, guys. Face yourself. You will come out. You will come out stronger, I promise you. I said that at the beginning of the reading. It's all about resilience. It's all about resilience, guys. It's about what you're going to do with this. What are you going to do with these changing perspectives? What are you going to do with it? Right? Face your shadows. Face them. Face them. They're not as scary as they seem. I mean, they can be painful, but I wouldn't say they're scary. It's more like, you know, all right, coming to terms with things, dealing with, there's a reckoning. There's a reckoning coming. And some of you are getting some past life stuff, some ancestral karma that's coming up as well. So definitely focus on that. That's coming up, you know, dealing with the guilt and stuff from maybe some of your ancestors that's kind of been passed down over and over and over again. Now, that in itself is a cycle. Yeah, definitely clear out the third eye, guys. I already said that. Clear out your third eye. Keep that channel clear, guys, so that you can interpret what's coming through from source, because I'm telling you, a lot of stuff is coming through right now. I'm getting a lot of downloads right now. And yeah, take a break if you need to, okay? Don't forget to take care of yourself, guys. Especially with all these energies that are surrounding us right now. You can take a break. You can chill. You can, you know, get yourself into a happy place. You don't have to continue something if it's draining you, okay? If you're feeling drained, take a break. I'm telling you, all right? There's no harm in that. Just make sure you go back to it, okay? All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me, and I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.